Let's go. And we're back. By now, you know, Wednesdays, I get the pleasure of being here with DJ B and Kenny Ken. How you lot doing, man? How you lot doing?
All good. Happy. After last night's performance, you can't not be. It's what you strive for, and it's what we want from Arsenal. And when we don't get it, that's why they come under criticism, and rightly so, because they're the levels we should be at this football club after spending a lot of money and a man in place for years as a manager.
You've come out firing for Arteta off the back already, D.
They're the levels we should be at. They're the levels we should be at. So all happy. Listen, I've said all along it's been an absolute flawless Champions League campaign. That is one campaign you cannot knock and cannot fault. You know, the record in the Champions League speaks for itself, and it was good in all areas. It was good in all areas, and we'll speak about it later. But yeah, I'm very pleased at the moment. Big up to everyone. Big up to everyone in the chat, and pleasure to be here alongside my right-hand man or left-hand side man, Kenny Ken, as always.
Kenny Ken, can we get a?
No, not a chance.
We're going to discuss it. But go on, Kenny.
Not a chance. Unlike a lot of people, a lot of people on the app, it's not personal against him, but I don't rate him one bit, and I never did. So I hate being proved wrong because I want Arsenal to win. But let's just say, first and foremost, let's talk about how we played and how we played. What I'll say about Arsenal is like the Champions League is like the school holidays, and the league seems to be like the school term, where you all the little nitty gritties. You know, you have to deal with loads of tasks. You have to deal with a lot of homework, annoying teachers, and then when you get the Champions League, it's like everyone, all the shackles come off, and that's where we play our best football. I think this campaign's been fantastic. I thought yesterday we started off really, really well. We took a leaf out of what PSG did to Internazionale in the final. They just played at a lot of pace, went after them, pressed them, and made it very difficult. And that's how you beat this Internazionale team. If you just play at their pace, they'll beat you, because what they do is they'll take you by surprise on a counter attack, because you notice they're very slow in midfield, not particularly quick defensively in terms of them moving the ball. But in the last third, it's like you don't know what's hit you. And they had loads of instances where they just sped it up in the last third, and I thought we dealt with it.
Especially when they brought that guy on, man. I can't remember his name.
Esposito, yeah,
him as well, man. And there's a couple in the first half to go.
Yeah, but we scored some good goals as well, and we dominated, and long may it continue. But the hard work starts now against Man United, and obviously we have to await who we get in the Champions League. Yeah, we all the second leg games are at home. That's good. But you still got to navigate the first legs as well. Don't leave too much to do in the second legs. That's the worst we could do.
I don't think you're lying, Kenny. I wanted to ask you lot as well, what did you make of some individual performances? I want to start with Mascara, man, because it's the other guys, it's easy to talk about them, but I think Mascara did very well. Second half, troubled a bit, but I think he did very well. What did you two make of the young defender?
Well, the thing is, Mascara, I mean, coming back from injury, before he went off with injury, he didn't do a lot wrong when he's played. It's a prospect. It is a prospect. I don't think he's the finished article yet, and even he will probably admit that he's not the finished article. But all you want from a player is when they come in, they do the simple things well. And as long as he's not a player that seems to complicate things. He likes defending. He
just does what he's paid to do, man.
Yeah, that's it. And that's all I want from a defender. I'm perhaps old school. I like my defenders to defend. I don't like all this kind of thinking that they're kind of something different. Just defend. Just do your job. Do what you got to do. If it needs heading, head it. If it needs clearing, clear it. If he needs to tackle, tackle. If you need to take a yellow card, take a yellow card. And I think Mascara's got all that. He looks like a kind of raw, old school type defender.
13 million.
Yeah. So I think I think he will come good. I've seen a lot of young defenders burst onto the scene, and they've looked as if like you think to yourself, nah, they're not going to quite do it. They're not going to quite do it. But he seems to have something about him. You know, he's good on the ball. His positioning's a little bit wayward sometimes. He kind of gets caught flat-footed.
Work in progress, isn't it?
But yeah, it's work in progress, and he can only get, you know, if he's playing alongside Gabriel or Saliba, he's got good teachers, so he's only going to learn as time goes on. My biggest problem is, will he get the game time? Will he be allowed to play and get the game time?
On that, sorry to cut you, do you think he could play right back? Because
I
thought that might be where he gets the minutes.
No. I wouldn't. I'll give you the reasons why. I think his natural position is centre half, and 100%. The one thing that I've had a problem with the signings that we've made at the football club is that we haven't actually signed anyone that plays in their proper position at the back. We signed Calafiori, whose natural position is a centre back, and yet we've inverted him to a left back. We signed Zinchenko, who's a midfielder. We put him left back. We put Skelly there as a left back, whose natural position is a midfield player. So I don't want to go down all that road of bringing centre halves and turning them into fullbacks. Go and buy a fullback. If you want a fullback, go and buy one. Go and buy one. Keep Mascara in his proper position. Nurture him. Get him to progress, because you're going to need him. Because if you're going to keep moving players from their natural position and putting them left back and right back, if anything happens to Saliba, whether they move on or get injured, Gabriel, whether he moves on or gets injured, you're now struggling for a centre half because they've not played in that position. So for me, I'd keep Mascara in a centre half, and I'd try and improve him in that position. And when you can play him, FA Cups, Carabao Cups, early Champions League games.
Yeah, because he played Inter away and Bayern at home now.
Yeah, play him as much as you can. Play him as much as you can, because you know what it's like, DG. You only get experience by game time. You know, you can learn all the kind of technical side of things in training, but you only really start learning in game time. It's like when you passed your driving test, isn't it? People say, oh yeah, you passed your driving test, but you don't start learning properly until you're actually on the road on your own. So no, for me, Mascara has got a good, I like him. I do like him. I think he'll come good, and used in the right way, I think he'll only get better. But I don't want to start seeing, I think my biggest problem with a lot of the signings that we've made, and as I said to you before, we haven't really signed anyone in their proper position. And I would like next season in the summer, if the opportunity comes round, to actually go and buy a proper fullback. You know, go and get an out.
Right.
I think we need covering the right hand side personally, because
same thing.
Timber is heavily reliable on. He is our best right back. He's our first choice, and rightly so. Rightly so. And that's nothing against Ben White. You know, I'm not overcritical on Ben White. In fact, I think he's been unlucky. It's just that Timber's coming along and he's a better fullback. You know, that's it. Ben gives you other attributes. I think going forward in the final third, he gives you that kind of, you know, he seems a little bit more calmer there on the overlaps and stuff like that. But as a defender, you've got to stick with Timber. Now, Ben White's not getting the game time. And I think he's one of the players that, if they can get the right money for him, he might be one of the players that could move on next season.
Oh, that's us backwards though, man, in theory. Because he, like you said, he's a decent player.
Yeah, but I think going forward, because if we do win silverware, it's all right winning it, but you've got to retain it. And in a way to retain it is that you don't stand still. So you try and buy like for like. You want someone to push Timber for his place. This is where Arsenal's gone wrong in the past. They've been in the comfort zone. There's never been any real players to push key players. And I think if you're going to retain premierships and FA Cups and really be a force in the next 2-3 years going forward, you don't just want squad players. You want players really, really challenging for positions. I'll give you an example.
Ideally better than what you got.
Yeah, I mean, before Kenny comes in, but there's no real challenges around in different departments. I mean, give you an example. Is there any real challenge to Zubimendi and Rice? Not really.
I say I want a midfielder with you guys every week.
Yeah, I've been saying go and get Morgan Rogers for ages, but hopefully we will. No, that's where I am. That's where I am. I like Mascara. I like what he does. He reminds me of an old school defender with a young head. And but yeah, I still think we need to strengthen in certain areas going forward.
What are you saying for Mascara, Kenny?
No, I've been impressed with Mascara for a long time. I first saw him in the under-21s when I played against England. I just liked his position and liked him on the ball. I thought, this is a good player, and I was really glad that we bought him. And he hasn't proved me wrong, really. Yeah, there was the odd, situation where it was a bit difficult. It's a Premiership. It's a learning curve for him. But in terms of like defenders, he's a good defender. He's going to be a top player. I think he's going to be a world-class defender, and hopefully it's going to be for us.
Oh, you don't use that word lightly.
I think, yeah, definitely. But yeah, sometimes what you got to do is you got to see ability. You got to think over the time. Is he better than anything in the top teams? And I think he could go all the way. And I agree with DJB in terms of like, Timber. Timber can't. When I say, we'll be all right with Timber at left back, or we'll be all right with him at centre half. No, he's not the same anymore. When he first came to the team as a left back, yeah, he looked the part, but we played differently. We're different. We need that orthodox left back. And the sooner
differently, there's less focus on the left as well.
The sooner Calafiori comes back fit and where to go, the better. Because I think we were a better team with him in it. And I think, and then Tim going right. I'm not as massive fan of Ben White as most of us. I've never been a fan of him defensively, and I think that what he gives us up top, I think if we get Timber up a scratch, he'll be able to do that. Everyone talks about his crossing. He's a very and I understand that. I think we pride ourselves in that in England. We want our right backs to be able to put those sort of crosses in, but as you know, we don't really have a traditional. Well, we have a traditional centre forward, but whether he's good enough or not is up for the debate, and there have been many debates around it. But yeah, regardless of what Arsenal did this season, if you want to keep on challenging, or you want to keep dominating, whatever it is, you have to freshen the team up. You have to be able to tap someone on the shoulder and say, "Look, thanks for everything you've done, but we need to move in another direction." You've seen so many teams in Europe. Domestically, you've seen one team that stood still for a long time, and now they're paying for it. Two teams actually that stood still for too long, and they haven't thought about tomorrow, and it's killed them. So full well that Arsenal got to practice that, but you can only Arsenal can only think like that when they win the first gong. They'll crawl over the line, probably in the league, unless there's a catastrophe, and we've seen the catastrophes. But I think once you start winning trophies, you become more accomplished, and you who knows, maybe you can start winning the next one, maybe the next season afterwards, a year afterwards, pretty easily, because you know what it's like to win it.
And you got the first monkey off your back. Kenny, I want to because you made a great point, Sorry to cut you. I think you made a great point, about like you got to be able to tap players on the shoulders and say goodbye and things of that ilk. But the flip side is you surely have to bring in even better. Like, do you think we'll do that in the summer? If we obviously,
without a shadow, that Arsenal definitely have to do it. There's loads of areas. DJB talks about the midfield. With Declan, Zubimendi, I think we do need another body in there, because the players we bought, in terms of like Norgard, he hasn't knocked on that door. He didn't start yesterday in a game which many fans were saying was dead rubber. I didn't think it was a dead rubber, because I
disagreed with that heavily. It's Inter Milan.
He didn't start. All right, he started. He set it back against the Palace, but in Chelsea game, a League Cup that fans not particularly taking seriously, he didn't start those games, so he hasn't made the significant progress in his position. So maybe it's an area we may have to upgrade on him. Nothing personal, and definitely I look at the right back situation. Maybe we might have to tap Ben White on the shoulder and say, "Look, we're going to need someone who's going to come in, to challenge Timber. But if he does get games, he can play a whole season. Not, we can't really, pay you 3 or 4 games. And if after 4 games, we're worried about you whether you're going to flare up or not. So we've got to look at that. The centre forward situation, unfortunately, we've got to look at that again as well. Where we like it,
if nothing changes,
we've got to, and we might have to get a couple in as well. And then obviously left hand side, without a shadow of a doubt, it's definitely someone we've got to look at. It's not satisfactory, despite the fact that Trossard's in fantastic form. It's very unsatisfactory for me. So those are the areas that Arsenal need to look at. And maybe, that's about it. Yeah, we'll do with Kepa for another season, and maybe we might have to look at someone who could challenge Raya for his position, because nothing's forever in football. There is
does love a goalie.
Don't know at the moment, but there's a better number one than Raya out there. We just don't know it at the moment.
I hear that, and to be fair, we did try and get. I think is it Garcia at Barca. He looks good. One does wonder what that would have looked like. I hear that, man. So yeah, big up Mascara. If we do win stuff, we obviously have to crack on. But keeping up the theme with players and whatnot, yeah. Who would you lot give man of the match to? Like, would it be Gabriel Jesus? Would it be Gyökeres? Or would it be Mascara?
Man of the match yesterday. I mean, look, Gabby got his goals, didn't he? Jesus got his goals. I mean, the second one was just really, really bad marking. I mean, you don't need to be. I mean, he's in the right place at the right time, but I mean, it's come to him, and he couldn't miss, really, could he?
Simple luxury.
And I thought he worked the line well. His touch was good. He anticipated the first goal from a scuff shot. So, I thought he deserved his credit. But I mean, for me, it's a difficult one, really. Again, Zubamendi. I mean, people go on about Zubamendi.
He was cold yesterday, man. He got caught on the counter, but the whole team did.
Hear me out. Please just watch the game closely when Milan was attacking.
100%.
Watch the game closely when they are attacking, and this is what I keep bringing up about Zubamendi. I'm not saying he's a bad player. And I'm not saying he hasn't brought anything to the party. He's done. He's probably been our best signing this season, going on the other signings. However, defensively, there's still question marks. He gets caught in position a lot. Again, if you look at that game, look at the highlights yesterday. He's very slow to get back under cover. He doesn't close he didn't close the shot down on their goal quick enough. He gets caught on the back foot a lot. He gets caught out of position defensively when they're attacking quick. But other than that, he done okay. I thought they was all pretty good performances yesterday, DG, if I'm honest. I mean, I'd probably give it to Jesus because he got his 2 goals and all credit to him. But listen, I thought they all put in a shift yesterday. I thought I was really, really impressed with the performance yesterday all round. I mean, and that's the levels you've got to be at to go and win titles and championships and everything else. I think the only thing that's worrying the Arsenal fans now is we haven't got a number 10, unfortunately. Unfortunately, you've got to address you've got to address it. The captain's not good enough, Odegaard. He's not good enough.
Talk to me about Eze and Odegaard, man, while we're here, D, as well.
Eze, and Eze is just not doing it. So, when we're talking about signings and we're talking about weaknesses in this team, you have to address it. And people ain't going to like it because they're Odegaard fans and they're living on the past. It's funny how they don't live on the past when Wenger and all of that was winning trophies, but they'll live on the past how well Odegaard was playing 2 seasons ago. But he's not good enough to be captain. He's not good enough as a regular starter in this number 10. If Arsenal have raised the levels now on performance and we're expecting trophies for the next 3-4 seasons going forward, then that number 10's a problem because Odegaard is not it, and Eze is struggling. So that has to be addressed. When I talk about Zubamendi, I'm still confident defensively he will learn that in his game. It's only his first season, and I think he will come better on that side of things because he's an intelligent player. So I'm hoping he will get better in that department. But for me, the left-hand side is still an issue, and the number 10's a major issue. But performances yesterday, yeah, Jesus. I think you got to give it a Jesus. I thought he done really well actually yesterday, Jesus. To be honest with you.
Where you at, Kenny, man?
Well, first and foremost, yeah, definitely, I agree with a lot what DJB says. But in terms of the man of the match, I thought Saka played really well yesterday. You know, I did have a little bit of a chuckle yesterday when he was through and goal. I thought this guy will not resist the temptation to go for himself.
Yeah,
I thought
the first one or the second one.
There's no way a guy who hasn't scored for a while has only scored was it 5 goals in a year? There's no way he's passed that at Gyökeres. You know, it doesn't matter whether Gyökeres pushed it away or not. He was going to have a shot on goal, even though the angle wasn't at his best. You know, he has been known to hit it in the roof of the net. But I thought he did better. I thought that, he got in behind, put some crosses in for Jesus and, for Victor as well. But man of the match has to be Jesus. And the interesting thing about Jesus is that if you speak to Arsenal fans, I was watching Sky. I don't really normally do that. And there was a woman on it. I thought she was actually brilliant. I thought she spoke the sort of language that a lot of Arsenal fans. There was no boorishness, even though the awful Leanne Sanderson was trying to get her to be boorish about our chances. She thought she scolded like a lot of us about our chances, about our chances of winning the title. She knows we're in a great position to win it, but she didn't because of the scars. But she said something interesting because there was a poll and it said 60% of Arsenal fans on the Sky poll said they want Jesus to start over Gyökeres. There was 29% for Victor, and then it would just spread out between Havertz. Rest went to Havertz. Anyway, she was one of the volition that Jesus should start. But I think that at the moment, Jesus isn't fully match fit in order to start games, back-to-back games. So at the moment, even though his performances are impressing us,
but surely we're playing on a Sunday, Kenny. If you're speaking with United in mind,
yeah, but remember, you got to treat this guy with care.
I agree with you. Just being devil's advocate.
He's had 3 ACL injuries since he's been at the football club, or was it 2 or 3?
Two. He had 11. 2. He had the first one. He came back. Felt like he played for 2 minutes. Big up Jack and happy birthday. He's in the comments. He played Palace. Then it was another 11 months. And he's back now.
And that's the thing. So what's happened is that you've got to carefully manage his games. And Havertz is not part of the conversation. He's far from
another one that
Okay. So at the moment, Victor is the man in possession. But the problem we got with Victor is that Victor looks lost. And I've said it previously. On DJB's channel last week, and I said it.
Make sure you're subscribing, people.
On Lee's channel, but I was in more depth, and I was on said it in more depth when I was with you, DJB last week. There's a disconnect between Victor Gyökeres and the team. Now I don't know, and it goes both ways. It's not a dig at the players, it's not a dig at Victor. There's a disconnect that when he's in position, we're not passing to him, and that we're giving him scraps if he's lucky. And
of truth,
Saka's not the only culprit. Odegaard is and Martinelli are just as culpable. But there's also another disconnect that when the ball does go in, he's not in the box. He's not anticipating that he can get in front of his defender. That's basic centre forward play.
The football IQ, man, and the hunger for goals. I've been disappointed.
That's why I say it's a mutual disconnect between Gyökeres and a team. And whether you want to sort of marry in the Chelsea performance, which I thought was very good, I was there, and you want to marry.
You saw my guy live. What do you think of the goal? I know you did the celebration at the bridge.
No, I didn't actually. But anyway, and then when he scored against International, the opportunist goal, those are rarities. That's not the norm. Hence the fact that he's opened up the debate on whether Jesus should get back in the team.
What's funny? That goal.
Let's not forget, we've been very critical of Jesus and Havertz because of their goal outputs and number 9s. But because of Gyökeres has not lived up to the billing, we're now talking about them and thinking, well, maybe they weren't.
Is that true though? Because if you look at this, Kenny.
No, he hasn't lived up to the billing. I think it's a myth he has. I think what we're doing
He had
is
no
having
pre-season as well.
No, that's not an excuse. That's his fault. Maybe if he
I love
had a
Kenny, man.
pre-season with Sporting Lisboa, he might have been fit when he came to Arsenal. That's not our problem. The fact is that we should stop treating this guy with kid gloves and saying, "Oh,
I have said it's got a bit like a charity case.
No, because let's face it, at 7 o'clock on a Saturday, when he was announced in July, all the Arsenal podcasts stopped what they're doing to make this announcement. There was a massive announcement on Sky. He came with a massive fanfare, and he came with a tag of the missing link, and he was going to shoot us to this title. So he came with that reputation. He hasn't lived up to that reputation. Let's face it right now.
Yeah, but he never put that in himself. His best time has been at Sporting and obviously at Coventry. It was Arsenal was crying for a striker and all of that. The media made the noise.
It doesn't matter.
Our expectation. He didn't do that.
It doesn't matter.
Look at the fee we spent.
It doesn't matter. He's 27. He's an experienced player. He's played in the big time. Played in the Champions League.
But he didn't say like a
You're saying that he still runs to the Champions League. The fact is, we haven't got time to wait for him or Eberechi Eze, because in a season where we're under so much pressure to deliver trophies, especially in the league, when it comes to the league, we can't wait for Eberechi to get our system.
Yeah, but Kenny, 6 months and only Ekatike's got more goals in all comps than Gyökeres.
And that's the thing, because Ekatike settled better than Victor, or maybe he's better. I personally think that Victor Gyökeres is technically he's not the best. I don't think he's elite, and I don't think
he'll ever will be.
I think that his goals period was him in form, and I wait to be proven wrong. But what I see from other players who play in that position is I do see the connect between the midfield and the defence, and also see the connect between when the ball does get playing, they get on the end of it. Marino's not a striker, but when that ball goes in, he's on the end of it.
That I agree with 100%.
He's not a striker. When Jesus yesterday, a mishit shot from Timber, he's there, ready to go. The ball comes off the bar by Trossard. He's alert. That's simple. There's times when that's happened. He's just like, where are you, mate? Where's that striker? So he's not.
Yeah, but against Chelsea and obviously yesterday he's fine.
No, that's a rarity. That's a rarity.
He doesn't from outside the area. Yeah, it is a rarity.
That's a rarity. And that's why when he does score, you think, oh, okay. Shall we wait for another 10 games for him to score, or another few games? Come on, this is facts. I don't want this show to be facts, because we all got opinions, but his performances and his goal return are factual. My opinions on it, it's up for debate. Your opinion is different from mine and DG, and so is DJB. And my good friend,
I don't think it is, Kenny. I don't think it is.
My good friend Albert and Dan, big Gyökeres fans, and quite a few people. I've heard Trips is a big fan of his as well. Respect that. That's an opinion, but you can't. Like I said, arguing against.
I'm a fan of his. He did everything with Stanford. We might need a better guy.
It's not working out, and he's opened up a debate where we're now going back to Havertz. Havertz is now the flavour of the month. By this time last year, we thought he was Lucifer. Now he's the saviour.
I think you got to look at the bigger picture. Facts show. Well, the facts show that over the last 5 seasons, our strikers have not performed, no matter who it is. And Gyökeres is just in the long list of
the wingers into that as well.
Of poor strikers. Now, you have to ask the question: is it the strikers? Is it the system? Or is it that they're not just getting the best out of them? Because
everything.
This guy came with an outstanding record. Now, people are going to say, "Oh, yeah, but it was only the Portuguese league, Farmers League." Well, I'm sorry, 97 goals out of 102 games is still prolific, no matter where you're
at any level.
At any level, 100%, right? And it's true, he hasn't hit the heights. Yeah, he scored a goal yesterday, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, Gyökeres is back." Blah 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 blah. but it came off of a if you watch football carefully, it came off of a miscontrolled first touch, touch, bounced off the back of Saka's leg, and it fell to him, and he hit.
That's what I'm saying. If he weren't being greedy, he might not have scored.
Exactly, DG. So you watch football, I watch football, and you watch you look at Kenny does as well. You look at the finer things. You don't look at how the ball ended up in the back of the net. You look at the build up before the ball ended.
How we got there,
right? Now that's Gyökeres. He's struggling. Jesus, let's be fair, has been struggling since he came to the club. Havertz was thrown up top because we didn't quite know where to play him. We tried him in midfield. We tried him in the 10. That didn't work, so we put him up top. That's not really helped. Aubameyang dried up. Lacazette. The list goes on. The list goes on. Eddie Nketiah. The list goes on. The problem is that it's been a problem in Arsenal Football Club now for 5-6 years. This striking role. That's why he's tried a false nine. That's why he has his wingers inverting. That's why he had his fullbacks inverting. That's why Calafiori pushes into midfield and joins the attack. It's because the way he plays and the way we play is not a striker's market at Arsenal. So, yes, you will get the odd goal from the striker. Yeah, they might score the odd 1 or 2, but you're not going to get that prolific 24, 22, 25 goal a season striker because it's not how we play. Now, is it the striker's fault or is it the system? This is, it's...
Could be everything.
Exactly.
I do think people underrate the system aspect that you're mentioning, though.
But having said that, when you have paid the money to go and buy the next best thing since Haaland, as in CV in scoring goals, whether you like it or not, you have to make it work. You have to make it work. When you have a striker with this caliber at your football club, you can't keep being my way or the highway. You have to make it work. Fans demand goals, and they go and pay the money to go and see goals and top strikers at Arsenal Football Club. So whether you like it or not, it has to work somehow. Because I don't want to be in a position where we are reverting back to Jesus and we're reverting back to Havertz. Not only just for this season, DG, but going forward next season. Because it hasn't worked. That's why
we're talking a winger and a striker. That's a lot of money.
That's why we bought Gyökeres. So whether people like it or not, whether people go, oh, he's on again, he's on about the manager again, he's on about the system again, they're the facts. Look at the facts. The facts of the matter is, no matter who's played up top for this football club over the recent years, it hasn't worked. It's not worked. Now, we do have to find a way to get Gyökeres goals. And it may be that we may need to change. But I think we're going to need to change tactically anyway going forward. Because you'll get found out eventually. You can't keep playing the same way. You can't keep setting up the same way and hoping to get over the line. You have to change. You have to move with the times. And this is what worries me going forward. Can we move with the times? Can we actually change the way we play? And I think we can, because he proved it in 22-23 when we were playing attacking football and flowing and scoring goals from all over the place. So that's where I am with that. Listen, I'm with Kenny. I'm not a massive fan of Gyökeres. I think he's a good player, but not in a red and white shirt. I don't think it's working for him at the moment. But having said that, I don't want to revert back to what we had previous, because that's the reason why we was all getting excited when we signed him. That's the reason, like Kenny said, everyone stopped what they were doing and going live. Gyökeres is at the club and everyone was excited. And the reason for that is because this manager hadn't signed a striker since he'd been there. So now we've got a striker. So now we thought, oh, that's it. That's the answer to our prayers, because all we need to do is get a striker. We create the chances. We just need someone to convert them. And although we have, on occasions, it's not consistent enough. And I think that's where people are going wrong. They're missing out on the word consistent. And you've got to be consistent in scoring goals, because if you don't, you'll get found out. So this has to work. This has to work. Bert has not bought him at the club at 27 years of age for this not to work. It has to work.
Sign a few strikers as well if one don't work.
It has to work, because there's not going to be the war chest. There's not going to be the amount of money that we can throw at this football team next season. We need to move players out the door before we get players in. And so it has to work. It's got to work. So I don't know who can do it. Whether Arteta can do it or whether he can't, I don't know. As I said, but going forward, yeah, we might win silverware this season. But if you want to retain it next season and be a force next season, Gyökeres has to work.
Fair enough. What if he turns out to be like a Darwin Núñez? And I know people will laugh, but like Liverpool obviously bought Darwin Núñez to score a lot of goals. It didn't quite work out. No, but they found a role for him though. Because if Jesus leaves, you wouldn't have Gyökeres in the squad. He might be a 10.
See, the problem is, I still think we've got too much dead wood at the football club. Because if I was to say to any Arsenal fan now, if someone came in and offered you 40 million for Jesus or 35 million for Jesus and 40 million for Havertz,
end of the season, I'd do it.
You're telling me that you wouldn't sell them? There's players at this football club, whether you like it or not, and me and Kenny are probably in agreement with this. There's players at this football club that you've got to move on. You have to move on, because if you stand still, the players get comfortable. It goes stale. You need freshening up. And although Trossard's had a brilliant season this season, he would be one that I'd move on and get another player in.
How many would be too many as well, like in terms of...
Martinelli would be moving on for me. Havertz would be moving on. Jesus would move on. Ben White. Norgard, and if Eze don't hit the ground running, Odegaard definitely, I'd move him on if the right price came in. So for me, you're looking at moving players on, because if you're not cutting the mustard now the bar's been raised, then you're not good enough to play for Arsenal. What standards do we want at Arsenal? Do we want to sit in the slow lane, or do you want to move out into the fast one? So,
yeah, but surely we can't let 7 man go and then bring in the next one after we've won a title.
I'm not saying 7 men all at once, but if offers came in to improve your team, that's what you got to do. Listen, how do you think these teams keep up with the time? They bring in strikers, they give them a couple of seasons. If you're not doing the business for me, see you later. Ta-da. You got to go. Move on to the next one. The trouble is with Arsenal, we keep them. We then offer them big contracts. We then give them more money. They have a couple of good games or half a season where they're balling out, and then 2 or 3 seasons where they're absolutely rubbish. And then we can't move them on. Our last sale was Oxlade-Chamberlain. That's it.
Mad.
34 million, I think we let him go for, wasn't it? He's our last biggest sale for this football club.
But I was going to have to fix that.
That is not good enough. That is not good enough. And the reason why that is because we keep players and they overstay their welcome. And they nick a living. They get 280 to 300 grand a week. They nick a living and then they move on for free. Oxlade-Chamberlain was our last big.
Yeah, no, I can't lie. It's mad. That is actually mad.
It's mad. You look at the money that has been wasted at this football club is absolute joke. So this is where we're at. I know it's all good times. We're top of the league, Champions League. The current team that we're doing at the moment seem to be doing the business. Yeah, I still think our league form's a little bit rusty. But having said that, the other teams haven't capitalised. But moving forward, unfortunately, there are big names that have got to leave this football club. And as for the striker issue's been there since the manager's been there. And he's got to find a way to make it work. Whether you like it or not, he has to find a way.
Kenny, you got a question, man. Do you believe he'll come good, or just have you lost belief in the guy?
Well, I never thought it would work out in the first place. on the basis of how we play as a team. That to play that, to do well in our team, you've got to be technically gifted, and you have to be able to link the play, and you have to basically get something out of nothing and create your own chances sometimes. You know, and most importantly, you've got to have some nuts on you. You got to lay down a marker. You know, put your nuts on the table. Say this is what I need. I haven't seen that from you, Chris, and I haven't got time to wait.
No,
you know, we're in the 6th year of winning nothing, and we can't wait around for him. You know, we've got to be ruthless now. This isn't a creche. I don't think he's going to come good because he hasn't got the technical ability to play as what I call a split striker or false number 9. How we play.
But surely there's more to give, though. He might be underwhelmed, but surely there's more from him to give. Like, surely there's more.
Look, he'll always work hard.
I think
see the Darwin Nunez people criticise, and rightly so. He got a lot of chances, but a lot of them he created himself. He ran his nuts off. He made things happen.
They found a role.
He made things happen. He had good feet, good technique. He can hold the ball up, led the line, and he got him situations where he could create his own half chances. This guy's not doing it. Look at the Nottingham Forest game. Come on.
Do you think Inter and Chelsea steps in the right direction? Because that's 2 and then 1 kind of pull in the middle.
And then then there was the Olympiacos when Odegaard put him through and gave him service. Come on.
I hear you, and you're right. And I always say, as much as I think there's certain excuses I can give Gyökeres, I think because of what you and DJB have eloquently put, like especially around the system and whatnot, in terms of what you could control, I knew your touch wasn't the best. So I'm kind of accepting of that, and I get what you lot are saying. But my thing was you're hungry to score goals, especially the point I agree the most with is being in the box at a consistent basis. But surely there's a reality where realistically he's probably not going to get sold. We don't know we're better. But there's a role for him that's going to slightly underwhelm.
He's getting a lot of praise. What he's doing is getting a lot of praise because, like I said, he's taking defenders away from him. Defenders are giving him an answer. He's probably creating spaces for other. He's doing a lot of ugly work. He's doing a lot of sort of Emil Heskey type work. And players like Michael Owen love playing with Emil Heskey because of the space he created. So. The problem with Gyökeres is that it's not just him. There is, as I said before, Saka. You got to remember one thing: if you've got
Saka's being greedy, man.
Think about wingers, right? The wingers we have now in professional football, especially in this country, they're not proper. They're not proper wingers. They're basically inverted forwards who basically have a responsibility to get on a score sheet. And they're all goal scorers. Salah is an inverted forward. He's not a winger. His goal tally shows that he puts himself first when he gets a position. Saka hasn't scored for a while, so he's a goal scorer. Martinelli, we know, is a goal scorer. A lot of people think he's a striker. Trossard is a dibbly dobbly. He could do a bit of both, but ultimately, he's a goal scorer. So that's not going to help Victor. And then you've got Martin Odegaard, who, because Saka's our main man, and because he knows Martinelli's game inside out, and he knows them, and he knows they're going to make the run, it's not finding this poor lad, he's finding him. And then after 60 minutes, when the guy's knackered and run his nuts off you go, mate. So these kind of moments in the last, 25 minutes when defences are tired and they're just thinking, I just can't wait to get my cup of tea and getting that warm bath because they're knackered. And then if you're knackered physically, you're knackered mentally.
Exactly.
All those little chances, he's not on the field to do it because his manager's substituted him. So it's basically a balanced way where I think it's not just him, but him not having this ability, having a technical ability, and him not putting his nuts on the table and growing a pair to his teammates. It's contributing to the disconnect and what I feel at times lack of respect from his teammates.
Lack of respect from his teammates. So you expand on that for me. Really?
What you think about it? They don't mean to do it, But you know, that if Odegaard's getting a ball, he wouldn't dare not find Gyökeres. Subconsciously, he doesn't respect his ability. He doesn't think he's going to deliver. So he's going to go to someone he trusts. If you don't trust your teammate and he's come from a big reputation, not trusting someone means you doubt their ability. And if you doubt their ability, you're showing no respect for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a fine. That's a fine.
I was waiting for him.
Just picking up on some of the chat. There's a guy in the chat. I think his name's Insomniac. What I actually said, my friend, was
chat
back
be
when.
Nice, man.
Yeah. No, listen, man. He's quite. No, everyone's entitled to their view. But what I've actually said, and I'll address it to everyone, is when we was in line to sign a striker, I said all along, unless this manager changes the way he plays, Gyökeres will look bang average. Now, if you was to give me a choice of what striker I wanted out of Gyökeres and Sesko at the time, then I picked Gyökeres because of his CV and the goals he'd scored. And I said, we can't afford to buy another project. We've got to find someone that can come in, proven striker, and can hit the ground running because we need to win trophies. That is what I said, right? I didn't say I wanted him, I was desperate for him or whatever. And there was another stream where I said, I don't particularly want this manager to have any more money spent on him. Because I think at the moment, whoever comes to the football club, he doesn't seem to improve. Right? That is what I said. But I've also, what I have been saying, and I still say it all along, the manager needed to change the way he plays for Gyökeres to score goals. If he doesn't change the way he plays and doesn't tweak his tactics and doesn't get creative, then this guy's not going to score many goals. And so far, that's the case because we still keep playing sideways. We still keep playing a slow build-up. Even more so when Odegaard's in the team. The play is slower. He slows the game down. He takes too many touches. And Gyökeres don't like that as a striker. He likes that long ball yesterday that Martinelli done, that brilliant.
I couldn't believe it, D. I couldn't believe it.
I had to look twice to see if it was the same player, right? That's what he feeds on. That's what he feeds on. But
we only get to do that in the champs for some reason.
That is what I said about Gyökeres, right? Obviously, we needed a striker. But I also said if we do get a striker, he will look bang average in this Arsenal team unless the tactics change or unless he tweaks certain things of his tactics. And he hasn't because, you know, we play a certain style of football and we play the same way. And that's why I'm saying it needs freshening up next season if we're going to go on and retain whatever we win this season. If we're going to move forward as a big club and we're not going to be a sort of one-season wonder or a one-hit wonder, you have to move forward. And unfortunately, you can't get attached to players. You've got to, unfortunately, as much as you might say, oh, I really like Trossard and I really like this one, I really like that one. Sometimes if you moving forward, you have to let them go and you have to sell them. Now, the facts of the matter is, our going forward this season, our final third in attack this season, it hasn't been brilliant in the league. Champions League's been flawless. Let's be honest, it's been perfect.
Perfect, 1,000,000%.
Absolutely perfect. Yeah. No problems with the Champions League so far. But in the Premiership, there has been stumbles. It hasn't been quite free flowing. And thank God Man City hasn't put a run together or Liverpool had carried on the way they started the season by nicking results.
About Chelsea and Villa now as well.
Yeah, exactly. So, because it has been a bit kind of stuttering going forward. It hasn't been pretty to watch. Saka's not really been on it this season. You know, and it's been bitty. So there's still a lot to improve. There's still a lot of points to play for, DG, you know. And as I said, I'm just keeping my feet on the ground. I'm not getting too excited. I can't come off the back of what pundits say and all of that and start, you know, truly believing yet. There's still a lot to go. There's still a lot of games to play. And Man United this week is a massive, massive game. Massive game. So
you teed it up perfectly there, man.
Yeah.
Like, let's speak Man United. Obviously, but just before we do that, yeah. Obviously, you lot have watched more football than I've been alive. That's why I value you lot's opinions, yeah. So maybe you lot can provide a different perspective. Me personally, I'll take any win, any gap. We know what we're trying to win, but for me personally, I don't take too much stock in the literal points gap we have on City, at least at this moment in time in the season. Where are you lot at with that, or what do you lot make of that?
go on,
sorry.
Kenny. Go on, Kenny.
I think the thing with Man City at the time, at the moment, I said on Lee's podcast after the Nottingham Forest game, I think temporarily Man City out of the title race, temporarily. Mathematically, they're in it, but the last 4 games, they've dropped points. You know, they couldn't beat Sunderland. They didn't beat Chelsea at home. Didn't beat Brighton at home, and they got turned over by Man United, who was spectacular and beaten fair and square. So if you're going for the title, you with that form, you can't consider yourself being in the title race, especially when you've got 7 points, because to overcome those 7 points, you've got to be playing well.
You've got to win your next 3 at the very minimum.
And you've got to be in form. If Man City were all flying and they're back 4-5 points behind, of course you're going to be worried about them. You should worry about them because of Man City. But if you look at their team, Haaland has only scored 1 in 8. That's not digging him out because he's a levels. One of the best strikers, Premiership over team, and he'll break
19 goals.
Yeah, but that's just facts. And then they replaced Kyle Walker, who basically, whenever their defence went walkies, he had the pace to get back. Midfield, I think Rodri, they think Rodri's got this magic wand. I think they need a runner alongside him. Gonzalez was playing well, but I think he's injured now, and they missed Kovacic, so they need legs in midfield. And thank God they got Gay for them. But losing Stones, losing Diaz, that's not good. And I think that
Nunes, Guardiola,
Bernardo Silva's past his best. He's past his best, in my opinion. So, you've got a situation that's too heavily reliant on Haaland. They should have got another forward in who can get goals. They've got a lot of midfielders who are good at attacking.
Spent a lot of money as well.
Foden was in the goals, but he's off form. But the loss of Ewan Alvarez has hurt them a lot more than they care to admit, because he was a foil for our good friend Haaland. Because he would, if Haaland scores 50 goals, he'll get at least 20, which you need.
Yeah.
And you won't worry about Phil Foden following that gap. And then Aston Villa, when you talk about Aston Villa as well, Aston Villa they've got a small squad. Marlon, selling Marlon before the Everton game wasn't wise. They needed a goal against Everton.
I think they brought back Leon Bailey.
And if they're getting Tammy Abraham, they should have got him on the 1st of January. So, and then let Marlon go. A game like that, Tammy Abraham, physical, knows the Premiership. They're like, Watkins is inconsistent.
God damn, he's fallen right off a cliff, Watkins, isn't he?
Yeah, and it's so a midfielder is that Roger. They relied too much on Rodgers in that game against Everton. I watched it, and it was him against the rest at Everton, and I thought, where's the other players? Their squad's too small. So Arsenal's biggest rivals is them. We're our biggest rivals.
I made a video captioned exactly that.
Yeah, I think it's in. I'm gonna say it's in our hands because of the way City's form is at the moment. But listen, we've been in this position before where we've been 7 points clear and everything else, and City were on a bad run. Can't remember when was it. 22, 23 season? I think we were 7 points clear, and City had stumbled. They'd
been the chasers.
They'd drawn a couple. They'd been inconsistent, and we was having the same conversation then. See, and this is where you've got to be careful, And people say, "Oh, I'm being negative." I'm not being negative. I'm being realistic. Realistic. The fact is that we have been in this position before. If we're in this position end of March, then I'm going to be like starting to get confident. I'm underlining confident now, but we've also got players out of form.
This is what I'm saying.
We've not got the squad depth that people think we've got.
I'm
Because
confident, but
Eze's
we're
not
not
on form.
laughing and celebrating yet, man.
Yeah, can't be laughing and celebrating yet, because as much as City got players out of form, they've just brought Gahey back in their defence. They can also now have got Semenyo. So
Pep can't sort it out from a coaching point of view.
They've still got a squad that can do damage. They've still got players that can hurt teams. Right now, we're running on maximum. Arsenal Football Club. These players are running on maximum now. They've played a lot of games. You know, some of them are carrying injuries. Some of them are getting over injuries. So, can we go up another level? I'd like to think so.
Or two.
But I'm not so sure, because there are players that are out of form. So when we say about squad depth, we can't rely on squad depth at the moment, because you've got Odegaard in and out of form. You've got Eze in and out of form. Right? You got, so this is what I'm saying. So there's still a lot of games. There's still a lot of points. And if we don't beat Man United on Sunday and Man City overturn Wolves, as much as bad as Man City are playing, they're only 4 points behind us. They're only 4 points behind us. So, it's nothing.
JB said that, basically.
It's nothing in football. It's nothing in football. I still think we'll win it. I still think that we've got a chance of winning the league. But as Kenny said, the only challengers to Arsenal is ourselves. If we start putting in performances like we did second half against Liverpool, if we start putting in performances like we did against Nottingham Forest, then eventually teams will capitalise on that.
You got a question, DJB, man. It's normally Kenny who gets the questions about your career.
So, let's if we're 12 points by March and April, will DJ be confident enough to sing Super Mikel Arteta? No, I won't ever sing Super Mikel Arteta, but I will be praising. I will be giving credit where credit's due, and I will be dancing in the streets in the parade as well. So
Facts, as you should be.
Absolutely, yeah. Listen, it ain't about me and Mikel Arteta. I'm an Arsenal fan. I'm not a Mikel Arteta fan. But listen, at the end of the day, there's a long way to go yet. There's a long way to go, and anything can happen. Injuries. We could. We've had two. You got to remember, in the Premier League, we've played 2 games and not scored a goal yet.
Good point.
So
we need to take that Champions League.
As much I know we're 7 points clear, but that ain't league winning form, is it? Where you've gone 2 games without even scoring a goal. So yeah, Man United is going to be a tough game on Sunday. Man United are coming off a back of a very good win against Man City. Carrick has injected them with something that
Carrick's beat us before as well. Hopefully, twice.
Yeah, he's brought that kind of new manager bounce to the football team. Players look as if they're happy. Looks as if they've literally been unpadlocked and the
tactically just doing the right things.
Yeah, and he's got them back to playing basic, and they're enjoying their football. Now that's scary, because if Man United start playing, then they've got quality that can hurt you. So it's going to be tough. It is going to be tough. Man United coming to the Emirates after beating Man City. Can you imagine what they'd be feeling and how the rest of their season's going to go if they manage to get something from that game?
Do we need a light display to make?
We've got to treat it with respect. This ain't a game that we can go in, and it's not a given. This game ain't a given. We've got to earn this game, and we've got to play well, and we've got to make sure that we're not getting caught in transition, because they will try and counter attack. Yeah. So this game is massive on Sunday, because if as I said, if City win and we slip up, it's 4 points. So considering how bad Man City are, we're not that far ahead.
Where are you at with it, Are you confident of a win, a draw? Like, where are you at
on Sunday?
Before Kenny answers,
I think it'll be a draw. I think it'll be 1-1. Personally,
I think we got it. I'm going 2-1 Arsenal.
I think it'll be 1-0. It's going to be a close run thing. I think.
Yeah, it's not walking apart.
What we do need, we need to really take the game to them. We can't play negative. We can't play slow. We've got to up the tempo, especially in the final third. We've got to up the tempo. And players and key players have got to turn up. You've got to turn up in big games, and this is where we went wrong against Liverpool, and this is where we went wrong. Key players didn't show up. Odegaard's going to come back in the team, which I don't think he should be. But he's going to come back in. He's got to show up. He has to show up. Saka's got to show up. You've got to have you can't keep relying on the Gabriels and the Salibas and the Timbers and the Rices game in, game out. Other players have got to step up as well. Especially now, this is the nitty-gritty part of the season. So we've got to still a long way to go yet, people. Still a long way to go.
And you made a good point, which I actually have forgotten as well, getting in the midst of bagging goals against Inter, in that obviously we need to get back to scoring. I went with 2-1. Obviously, you think it's a draw. Kenny, where's all your thoughts at with everything Man United, man, at the weekend as well?
We got to make sure that we got to make Man United and basically put Man United in a category of, well, they had their day out in City, but we got to say this is the Man United we've seen before. One thing about Man United is if they'll be absolute morons if they don't play that same team against us on Sunday and play with that tempo. They need runners in that team, and they need to, they just showed you what Kobe Mainoo could do. Kobe Mainoo kept the ball brilliantly, and he
very good player.
In the last third, he had a lot of speed of foot. I thought Fernandes was brilliant. Bruno Fernandes was out of this world. And I thought that, Mbomo played really well. But, I was really, really impressed with. I was really impressed with the left-hand side. I thought Dogu was just like a menace down that side. And I think that, regardless of what you say about Harry Maguire, he gives them two things: organisation, defence, and I think he plays well with Martinez. And that set pieces, their attacking set pieces, is an absolute menace. So, in terms
of the bar in that game, in the derby,
yeah. In terms of that game, I think Arsenal, they have to disrupt in the passing of Mainoo, get in his face, disrupt his flow, and disrupt Casemiro. Don't give them any time on the ball. You give them time on the ball, they'll be able to pick up their pass, and you've got to be physically fit. You've got to match their runners. So if it's Cunha, match him. Watch out for Dogu. They overlap on Dogu, and down the right hand said Dalab as well. He ran his nuts off because they're going to press and get in their faces. Carrick's not going to accept anything else, so it's going to be a bloody big game. It could be a game.
Has to turn up, man. He's up against Casemiro.
Well, yeah, even so. But I know that when they don't have the ball, Fernandes and Mainoo would be on him. There'll be instructions to get in Odegaard's faces and mess him around, get him away from the critical thing. And you're going to have Dogu and Luke Shaw. They're going to be like dogs and Saka. They're going to be absolute dogs in him, try and give him nothing. Because I saw what he did against International. He tried to get around the back. So they're going to be dogs of war in him. And Maguire's going to love playing against Gyökeres. He's going to absolutely love it. He's going to thank you. Someone who's actually going to make the defence. He'll love it. And I think Martinez won't be too bothered either. And it's not a dick at Gyökeres. They like someone who gets in there.
Especially big games, the strikers are cancelled out. Not just at Arsenal, but most of them.
You don't really have it. You have strikers moving in and out. But Gyökeres will get on them and they'll love it. But in terms of Arsenal, what Arsenal need to do, I think it'd be a set piece or a penalty. I think it'd be close. But Arsenal don't have to make it close. If we play with the same tempo we played against an International and take the game away from Man United, it could be over by half time. We go to the goal up early on. The whole game changes if we go 2 up. But of course, the one thing you don't want Man United to do is settle, and you've got to keep on going because right now they got
the thing we do. We start well, and then we kind of calm down.
Yeah, Mason Maps will come on. He'll give them a bit of legs. They've got a choice of Cunha or Šeško. Šeško doesn't hold the ball up too well. That's probably when it started.
He probably scores their one goal for them.
One thing about Cunha good and he's bad. There's the good Cunha, you know, is direct.
And Buemo's lethal and all, isn't he?
Yeah, but the bad Cunha,
they look good on the counter.
Cunha is greedy, sometimes makes the wrong decisions, and sometimes his first touch can be, oh God, he's got the Martinellis about him, Cunha, and I think it's an indictment of Brazilian football that Cunha, Richarlison, Martinelli are forwards for the Brazil. When you think about players like Beto, Romario, Zico, Pele, and now you're left with that. God help Brazilian football.
Thing is, right, as well, Man United, I know it sounds crazy, but it doesn't. See, all the form book goes out the window. When it's Arsenal, Man United, it's one of the biggest fixtures of the season. It's definitely my biggest fixtures of the season. You and Kenny might be Arsenal, Spurs, but Arsenal and Man United is my biggest fixture of the season. They're my rivals. And the form book goes out the window. Man United know this, but Man United are for the first time in a long, long while, Man United are on a shot to nothing coming to the Emirates, because all they're playing for this season is top four. They're just playing for Champions League spot, right? So even if they slip up at the Emirates, they know they've still got plenty of season left to make that ground up, so they can actually come and sort of relax and enjoy the occasion on Sunday, because they're not really playing with any pressure. They're probably tipped to lose the game anyway. They probably know they're not the favourites going into the game. So they can come and play with a little bit of freedom and enjoy the occasion, because if they lose, it ain't really going to damage their chances of top four, because they've got plenty of fixtures left to make it up. If they win, they can make a huge statement this season. So a Man United team with that kind of attitude and with nothing to play for is more scary than a Man United team when they've got something to play for. So I am a little bit worried about Sunday, only because of our recent form in the Premiership. If it was a Champions League game, I'd be not a problem. But our recent form in the Premiership, in fact, our Premiership form all season. I know we're unbeaten at the Emirates, and me and Kenny go all the games at the Emirates, so we know, we see with our own eyes, we watch it live. The fact of the matter is, we haven't seen, again this season, we haven't seen outstanding performances week in, week out. We've seen bits and pieces, we've seen moments, we've seen 20-minute spells, and we've got away with stuff from a corner, a set piece, own goal. You know, we've got away with things. It hasn't been, there's been the odd game, but it hasn't been fantastic. The second half against Aston Villa, the 4-1, yeah, there has been moments, but consistently, it's been hard work at the Emirates. It's been a hard watch. And if we put in that performance against a Man United team when they can relax a little bit, because it's a shot to nothing, if you like, which is a rare occasion for an Arsenal Man United game, but it is.
True.
Then we could come unstuck. So it's one to watch, and we've just got to go about our business, and we've got to be professional. And hopefully, as I said, the big players that are picked need to show up. Saka needs to show up. He needs to show us why people are putting him on that world-class gravy train.
Saka, I need this.
Odegaard needs definitely to show up, because I think he's on borrowed time personally. And if he does play Gorkarez needs to score.
Who do you lot go with, like? Because I know DJB's got a goal. So the last question for you lot is like,
I'll stick with Gorkarez. Me personally, I'd stick with Gorkarez. Yeah.
Well, Kenny,
look, Gorkarez is in the team for me because he's the fittest striker we got. But if everyone was fit, you know, his places are up for grabs, which they should be anyway. But Gorkarez has to start. You're not going to play. You're not going to play an unfit striker just because people think he's better than what we got. You've got to play the fittest striker. in a game, and he's still going to have a role to play. So he plays, but if you want me to go from your team, well, obviously Raya in goal. See, the right back thing is very, very, very interesting because I want balance. I really want balance, but I look at Ahmad as a player that I forgot to mention as well. Ahmad as well was absolutely fantastic as well.
And you want Timber against him in terms of
Ahmad
everyone.
were absolutely ruined Miles Lewis Skelly. You know it. DJB knows
man,
it.
I've seen Lewis Skelly do it against Real Madrid, man. He might be out of sorts right now, but he's standing up tools, man.
Forget that. Miles Lewis Skelly is a liability at left back.
Nah, man.
He's an absolute liability.
Some fans were saying he's the next Ashley Cole and all of that.
He's not the next Ashley Cole.
Yeah. They were saying, I wouldn't say
the thing with Arsenal fans, we get very excited when one of our academy players
excited.
Put their shorts on, get their boots on, and we think, right, he's a great player. We had this silliness about Max Dowman. All Max Dowman did was get the ball and go past the player, and we're all in hysteria. Get a grip. Get a grip. So, but I think that centre halves are going to be Saliba and Gabriel, and then left back I think it's going to be Timber, but I don't want him there because he's not a left back. He doesn't even play. He's only this season when he's played out of position, he hasn't been good. Against Aston Villa, he was very bad, and against Nottingham Forest, there wasn't anything that made me think, okay, he's had a good game. I wasn't impressed. I think at right back we've got to play him, but the fact is that we because Miles Skelly is bereft of confidence at that. I would have to play Timber there and pray that Hincape and Calafiori get fit so we can put Timber back where he belongs. Midfield picks itself, unfortunately, which means Martin Odegaard's going to get a game.
You didn't gamble with Eze?
No.
Over Odegaard?
No. Eze played yesterday. You know what I worried about Eze? Eze was trying too hard. He was so anxious, to get his goal, and because he was so anxious. He looked a bit lost. He wasn't keeping the ball well. They're taking the ball off him. And when he was in front of goal, he was so desperate to get that goal. You know what I mean? And I get it. But when it comes to Martin Odegaard, he's not doing enough to take the place of Martin Odegaard, who's been actually poor, by the way. But you still, when you get the chance, you've got to say, well, hang on here. Sit down, captain. He hasn't done it. So Zubimendi will pick himself. Rice picks himself. And then up top,
like this for sure.
Well, up to cross the crosses, and it'd be Bukayo Saka, and I think
Trossard.
I hope so. But
Trossard should get a game. Trossard should get a game, but I wouldn't be surprised if he looks at Martinelli's pace because of the way Man United ran their nuts off and the pace they ran at as well. He may. I don't
think he can make too many changes, Kenny. I think he's got.
He may look at Ahmed's pace.
Yeah.
And he might think Martinelli might help out Timber because he was not a left back. So
I mean, I think for me the only problem is the left back because Timber's found wanting in left back, but he's better than Skelly. Skelly's definitely found wanting at left back, so we do have a problem with left back. Again, who'd have thought we had a problem with left back last season? Season on, and we've still got a problem at left back. You know what I mean?
It's DJ.
Crazy.
It's only because Ricardo's injured. Ricardo's been.
Calafiori. I'll be honest with you. Calafiori's a massive miss this season. Calafiori has been outstanding.
Ultimately, Hincape's good.
He's injury.
And then we've gone back to forcing it down the right hand.
It's not the first time he's been out injured a long time, is it? Yeah. He spent a spell on the sidelines last season, and he's doing it again this season. You know,
it's why we played DJB.
It is a problem.
Yeah, it's not just in football matches. In training, we have to play with intensity.
Yeah. I think that this Sunday, I think he's going to stick with Timber at left back. I think he'll stick with Ben White at right back. I think the back four will pick itself. The midfield will pick itself. And I just hope he plays Trossard on the left because
I hope so as well.
Martinelli, as you saw yesterday, he's brilliant to bring off the bench just to give you something different. But you're starting Martinelli for 90 minutes. He's just not it. He's just not it. He's just not it. Martinelli off the bench, perfect.
See,
absolutely perfect. Don't start with Martinelli for 90 minutes.
I think you know what it is, right? It's just the pace of Ahmad.
You know what can counteract that place though. He could, if he wanted to. He could, if he's going to play Timber at left back, and there's a vulnerability there. He could put Saka on the left and play Madueke on the right. Because Saka has played left back and Saka has played that role. And he's comfortable on the left.
I think that's the thing. You know the problem we have with Arsenal?
He wouldn't, but he could do.
Notwithstanding Mikel, is that when players get in playing a team and they're in their position, it's fixed. And they know it's inside out. Is that when you put them out of position, they struggle because they forget all the things they've learned left back. Like Timber, he's forgotten what it's like to be a left back, so he looks a bit lost. And defensively, as well as a centre half, he looks lost. He doesn't against Aston Villa when they got on his shoulder. He was not comfortable one bit. But right back is a good thing. But I think he will play. I hope he does play Trossard because Trossard's had a very good season.
Yeah, I think he'll play Trossard.
And he doesn't like playing Man United, to be fair.
Yeah, I think what Arsenal do is that Arsenal have never disrespected Man United. They've always, even though Man United have fallen, basically have had lower standards since Sir Alex has left. They've never been easy to beat at their ground or at our ground.
Definitely,
they've always raised their game against us.
Is Havertz fit? Sorry, Ken.
No, is it real fitness though?
No, he's not fit.
Is it real?
Havertz is not starting. Havertz is probably not fit to come.
I'm putting Marino up front from the start.
You know Havertz. Havertz is only fit to play 10 minutes. Come on for 10 minutes.
Yeah,
I agree. I'm going Marino.
No, because as I said, the 10's a problem for me because and we'll see it. If Odegaard drops another stinker on Sunday, and he's not on it Sunday, and he goes missing Sunday, then we know we've got a problem. We know we've got a massive problem because if you can't get yourself up for a game like Arsenal Man United when you're chasing a title, then there's a problem. So I'll be there expecting every single Arsenal player to put in a shift on Sunday. I don't want to see 100%. This. I don't want to see what I saw against Liverpool, all that nonsense, and Nottingham Forest, not against Man United. They've got to put the performance in.
Marino might play in that 10 role soon, man.
Are we bullies? Are we bullies that when teams kind of replicate our strengths, we struggle against them? And what I meant is that against Liverpool, we couldn't bully them because we saw the size of their players, in terms of height and physical
we've
size.
got some shit houses, but we're generally quite nice.
Yeah, but if you notice against Liverpool kick team, when I was at the ground I saw the kick off, I saw Liverpool. I didn't take notice of Liverpool's way of training, but when it was about to kick off, I looked at the size of their players. I said, sorry, excuse my language. I said, bloody hell, they got players as big as us. And then when I saw how they kept the ball and kept the ball, I thought, we're going to struggle against that. But what I liked about it was their organisation. Now, Nottingham Forest and no Liverpool, and they're 70th place, but Nottingham Forest had the same attributes. They had some big players. They had Aina back at right back, who had the game of his life, I think. And then what it did is that when they had possession, which is very rare, they were very good with the ball. So
do you know what we don't deal with too well? We don't deal with runners running from midfield at us.
No.
We don't deal with when they pick the ball up deep and they start running at us. And this is why I'll come back to Zubimendi, because he likes to get on the ball and get forward and join in with the creative side of things. And sometimes when that gets bypassed and they pick and a lot of teams pick the ball up in midfield, we don't deal with runners running at us. We don't deal with pace because our midfield might be technically gifted in certain areas, but it's slow. Rice is slow. Zubamendi's slow. We're not quick. We're not quick in that area. So we struggle when We struggle when there's players picking the ball up and running at us, and this is what worries me with teams in transition. If you get a team in transition that plays the ball on the floor and play it quick, we tend to struggle with that. So that to me is a little bit of a concern.
I'll agree with you on that. I think what we have seen is that teams have been playing better since the Sunderland game. It opened our eyes that we haven't kept many clean sheets at Sunderland. Has anyone noticed that? That and one of the reasons why is that teams are taking more risks against us, and they are getting bodies forward. They're not being cowardly and defeatist. They are trying to, you know what I mean? And they are learning how to play against us and learning how to combat us. Only we've got better players.
Yeah,
more
we would
players,
play
we've got our set pieces as well. So that takes us, and we're so bloody minded when it comes to defending our corner and off the ball. We just so hard to break down. But I agree with you. We would struggle with that, and you know that Man United would attempt to do that, but they won't come out. What Man United are going to do is that if it was at Old Trafford, you know they're going to come at us, and they're going to get in our faces. They won't be too
temperature first.
But what they're going to do against us on Sunday is that they're going to be. They're not going to bomb forward. They're going to. What they're going to be more concerned with is obviously be organised. Give us nothing in terms of width. Give us, make sure we don't have time on the ball. This is hello, SLD. Yeah, he does it all the
time. Look, Kenny's number one fans in.
Yeah,
anyway, he loves him, man. Never misses a team. Big him up.
But I think what Man United will do. I think what
no, we got. As I said, we just got to be careful because. You know, we don't like them players dropping into them little pockets either, and that's what Bruno will do. He'll try and find. And Mainu, they'll try and find little them. He'll try and find space in between our kind of midfield and defence, and just pick the ball up and that's we tend to struggle with that as well because I noticed against Liverpool they were going through our midfield far too easy. 1, 2, 3 passes and they were through.
Yeah, but
you know, Wirtz was dropping off into that gap.
I think you've got to start Marino, whether in Odegaard's role or I'm so honest.
But you think about it, right? That's understandable. You've got players like Wirtz, good on the ball, McAllister, good on the ball, Szoboszlai, good on the ball, and very, very fast. And you got a strong Gravenberch. All that kind of unit, all those kind of that quartet kept the ball really well and frustrated us. And then you had Conor Bradley, who just basically kept his position, and it enabled Frimpong to say, "Right, I'm going to stretch." He stretched the game, and it concentrated us. So they did really well. And then you look at Nottingham Forest as well. You know, they did try to stretch the game as well, and when they did have the ball, the little they had, it was actually good ball. I thought Igor Jesus held the ball up really well, and I think that's where we struggled against teams like that, because what's happened is that they didn't want to give anything away, and that's how teams are going to play from us. You know that how Everton beat Aston Villa, that's going to be their blueprint coming to the Emirates on the 15th of March. That's what. But you know what? If you want to win titles, you've got to learn how to break these teams down.
Exactly. That's why we paid the bucks, and this is what I've been saying about. You know, this is why players in our team need to start hitting form, because that's the reason why we brought them to the team. Like Eze, you know, we brought Eze in to be that creative spark, to get over the low blocks, and he hasn't done it. Unfortunately, he just hasn't done it. He's another one that's been, unfortunately, on the whole, disappointing, which is a shame. And now the manager don't trust him. The manager don't believe in him. You can see that the way he's finding every opportunity not to play him and bring him off when he can. The body language on Eze yesterday, I felt sorry for him. I mean, he walked off of that pitch yesterday at Champions League. I mean, you just see him. You didn't have to say anything. You just looked at Eze and you know that player is not happy at this football club right now. He really isn't happy. For some reason or another, I don't think the manager likes him either. And I could be wrong, but I just don't think he likes him for some reason or another. He doesn't do what he wants him to do. And I don't think Eze now at his age can change the way he plays. Eze's Eze. It's worked for him at Crystal Palace. He's come to Arsenal. It's a step up, and he's struggling. And it's a shame. It is a shame because Eze is a very, very good player. And there's no one, you know, you can't say he's not a good player because he's proved it in the Premiership for the last 3-4 years. He's been an outstanding player, and he still is. But unfortunately, we can't get the best out of him. And this is why you have to ask the questions. Why can we not get the best out of players like Eze, Gorkarez, and all these players that come to the club? Why can't we get the best out of them? I just find it difficult to understand. I really do. When you've got a player like Eze, you've got to find a way to get something out of him.
I totally agree. You know what I think is, DJB? That it's a combination of the pressure we are under and the urgency of that pressure, where it's a conveyor belt of games where we've got to build a run of victories, you know, stay undefeated and keep on getting those points to win this title. So that doesn't leave enough time to marry these players in. Another thing as well, we've got a very established way of playing, and where Mikel, in terms of the way he plays, there's non-negotiables when we don't have the ball. There's non-negotiables when we do have possession, and that when we do that, where we're only going to make the pass if we're not going to lose the ball. You can't lose the ball in Mikel's system. You can't let someone come around the back of you.
No.
In Mikel's system. Doesn't matter who you are. The players that play week in, week out have martyred not allowing this to happen. That he doesn't seem to mind if mistakes happen through enforced pressure or sustained pressure, that's fine. But when it's doziness or people trying to, you know, do the fancy dance, and that leads to us losing the ball and us being under attack, he don't accept that. It takes time for players like your Gorkarez to keep the ball and not be wasteful.
It's happening.
It takes time for Eze to play a different way, where he has to be able to keep possession and he has to curb what he wants to do. It's a learning curve. It's a learning. But the thing is, because of the urgency of this season and the fact that we have to win,
we don't really have time for the learning thing.
There isn't any time. So
yeah, it's a bit of that.
If they don't get it, they go on the bench, and then he goes with players he
trusts.
There's
a bit of that, but you just feel that if Eze was at a Man United or a Man City or Liverpool or something like that, they'd get the flair out of him and they'd get the best out of him. You know, I think Eze's the sort of player that needs a shoulder, needs an arm around him, and just sort of say, "Go out and enjoy yourself." Go and give him that. See, this is what's annoyed me with Odegaard. He's never really had that free role to play how he wants to play. That every single player is robotic with Arsenal. It's you get the ball, you pass it 5, you give it, you get back, you defend, you keep possession, you keep very possessional base and positional base. You can't wander too far from that position. You have to sort of stay regimented, and I don't think it suits Eze. A player like Eze just needs the freedom. He needs all the freedom he wants to go and like a Vitinha type role for PSG, and he's not going to get that. He's not going to get that at Arsenal. So, yeah, he's struggling, man. He is struggling, which is a shame. Which is a real shame because I'm a massive Eze fan, and it's painful to watch. It really is. It's so painful, and I'm hoping he'll come good. But again, see, the problem is with Arteta. Once he loses faith in someone, they don't really come back, and it's just one of them things, you know. But he sticks with Odegaard. This is the frustrating thing. He gives Odegaard all the time in the world, but don't give like Man Eze any chances at all. And this is why I'm critical of him, because what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If you're going to give Odegaard all the time, then you've got to give Eze some time. And he doesn't do that because he still... See, the problem is with him, and what people's got to realise, he picks the same players and he sticks to the same principle week in, week out. So he'll pick Odegaard. He'll stay with he'll stay with his Jesuses. He'll stay with his Kai Havertz when he's fully fit. He'll stay with Saka, star boy. Not really playing well, dropping stinkers in certain games, but he'll stay with him. He'll keep with him. Won't bring Madueke in and give him a run of games, even though I think Madueke's poor, to be honest with you. But having said that, you know, he's poor, man. I mean, come on. You know,
to get some goals and assists, man. But,
you know, but this is what I'm saying. You know, you can't just because he's captain and you've made him captain, or whoever's made him captain, you can't just because he's captain keep playing him week in and week out. And this is what he does, and it's frustrating, man. It's frustrating because Eze ain't going to get the same opportunity as Odegaard, and you have to ask yourself why.
I agree with that. I can't not have you lot here, yeah, and not ask you lot about this, man. Nwaneri's loan to Marseille. What are you lot saying?
I'm over the moon with it. I'm over the moon with it. Ethan Smith-Rowe has been freed. That boy now can go and express himself. The shackles are off. He can team up with men like Aubameyang, Greenwood, and all of that.
True.
And he can show Europe what this young boy is all about. It's their gain, our loss. And I've said it from day one. Anyone that knows me, been following me on the round.
Yeah, what did you used to call him when you think you called him Ethan Smith-Rowe or something like that? You used to
I've
say
been
it.
calling him Ethan Smith-Rowe because if you have a look at his career path, you have a look at Ethan's career path, it's very, very similar to Emil Smith-Rowe. Very, very similar. And we all know what happens to Emil Smith-Rowe. He went out on loan, he came back, and then he eventually got sold. Ethan Nwaneri is exactly going the same way. I'm glad he's gone, man. I'm glad he's gone because he ain't getting game time. The manager didn't like him for some reason or another. And he's just in the long line of these young players under this football manager. Once Calafiori's back and Incape's back, Skelly will be in the same situation. He'll be way down the pecking order. He won't get game time. He's a midfield player that's been turned into a left back, and he ain't really comfortable in left back. And he'll end up the same. He'll end up like Smith-Rowe. He'll end up like Reece Nelson. The list goes on. Balogun, Eddie Nketiah. The list goes on. We talk about our youth setup and we talk about our youth and what this manager's done for them, but none of them have really, really shined at all. That's why they've been moved on and eventually sold. Ethan's just in that long line of the rest of them. I'm over the moon. I'm glad he's gone because I think he needed to go because he is a very, very good talent. I mean, we was watching him when he plays for the youth team back in the day, DG, when you used to cover the youth matches, and I used to come on in your chat and say like this kid is unbelievable.
What a throwback, man.
Yeah, you know, and look how he plays for the England under-21. Look how he plays for the England under-21. You know,
I'll get some minutes under your belt, man.
He's got everything. He's got everything, and you can't keep that player. You can't keep a player at a club where he's not suited.
He's more than just
if he's not suited at Arsenal Football Club, then he's got to move on. I know a lot of the chat don't like it, and a lot of fans don't want to admit it. But
you're gonna trigger them again, man.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest. What's the point of bringing these youngsters through if they're not going to be given the chance to shine at the football club?
True.
Why do you think Mertesacker walked out?
Big up, D, man. You're right. Kenny, what you saying for it, man? You ain't said nothing on Nwaneri. Where are you at with it?
Well, the thing about it is it's a difficult one, isn't it? If you're an academy player and you make it into the first team, two things will happen. Either you have the pathway that Saka's had, or Phil Foden's had, or you have a situation where you are brought into the first team in order to be put in the shop window. In order that you'll get a few games, and then what will happen is that you're always going to be, you're always going to be the ugly sister whilst the rest of the team are Cinderellas. You think about it. Who's going to get more priority? £63 million Eze or Ethan Nwaneri? Who's going to get more priority? the Norwegian and Arsenal captain, or Eberechi, or Ethan Nwaneri, and then
Also,
Marino's
Marino into that as well.
Marino's done well for you up top, and he deserves game time. So he's pushed further and further down the pecking order. And then you got players like Havertz and Jesus back from injury. They need to be in the matchday squad, so you won't get in the matchday squad. He's going to hide it to nothing. So, and the situation is that when you're young, you only get a few chances to shine. I think the Brentford game has really hurt him, where he didn't do the Arteta requirements, i.e. off the ball, and he hasn't really featured with any prominence since then. And even when he does good things, right, that's going to go unnoticed because someone spoke to my brother, and I won't give you his name because he'll kill me if he did it, but I had a conversation with that guy, and I'll tell you one thing, it was someone big, and you'll be shocked if I told you, but I can't. I promise. I've got to keep my promise. He says that Ethan Eze represents risk when they come, and that's the situation with them. If you're a risk and you lose the ball, it's like being in a circle of trust, and I think that's the thing with you. In terms of Ethan won't want to go. Because if he's looked at a team that's top of the Champions League, top of the Premiership, in the League Cup final. No, sorry, not in the League Cup final. Sorry, Chelsea fans. Sorry,
into existence. No, we've got this. In fact, let's stay humble.
I apologise because that's arrogance and that was a slip of tongue. It's still going to be I'm not saying it to curry favour. I still think there's mileage in that second leg. I'll just be honest. There's mileage, but in terms of like Ethan as well, he ain't going to want to leave Arsenal now because even though he's not getting much game time, he's always going to think, if I'm needed, I could play in a big game that can lead us to a title. I could play in a big European game. I might even get minutes in the cup final. It's highly unlikely to happen, but he's going to want to stay for that. I don't think he wants to go to Marseille, but in terms of his development, he knows he has to go there. Another thing as well, you can't have an asset at a club when they're doing nothing and not playing games.
Appreciating if that's the case.
Ethan is an asset.
21s last week.
And by going to Marseille, he's going to put himself in the shop window. I always say, if you have players you don't want or players you want to keep but know you can sell them, they have to be in a shop window, and the best shop window is playing games.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, but he's had the opportunity he's had the opportunity to play Ethan in a number of games, and he just hasn't played him. He hasn't played him. He hasn't brought him on. I mean, we've been 3-0 up cruising, North London derby, for instance, whatever. No threat. There's been opportunities and games where he could have played him. So for me, I don't agree with playing players that are not performing 100%. But when you're sitting on the bench and you can actually see players not performing, and then they're getting a game week in, week out, and you're sitting there, no matter how young you are. Because this guy, you got to remember, what was his words when he was given that contract? I'm going to play. He's going to have He's going to have an integral part to play. Ethan Nwaneri was told that this is what these are the manager's words. He will have an integral part to play, right? I'm going to play him he's going to play a more central role with this football team going forward, and he's got a big part to play in this football team. And he's not been able to get on. He's not been able to get 5 minutes. He's not been able to get 10 minutes. He's not been able to get on. Havertz has been out injured. He still couldn't get on. Eze's not been pulling up any trees. Still couldn't get on. Jesus was coming back from injury, or he's been out injured. Still couldn't get on. Saka's been putting stinkers in left, right and centre. Still couldn't get on. So he's had plenty of opportunities to play him. He just hasn't played him. So for me, I mean, it's a no-brainer moving him on, because if you don't like a player, just admit it. Just say, look, sorry, he hasn't got a future at the football club. Mr. Berta, we need to cash in on him. How much can we get for him? Why give him another
Hopefully,
contract?
he comes back like Saliba last.
Yeah, but why give him another? Why give him another contract? Because I just don't see the point of giving players contracts when you know you don't want them at your football club. You don't rate them. It's like Eze. Come on, it's blatantly obvious now that this manager didn't want Eze because he'd have signed him in June, he'd have signed him in May, he'd have took him on the tour. He was given to him because Havertz got injured and we were desperate, and then Eze turned up at the doorstep.
Well, 60 million. There you go. Like
he went, "Here you go."
Contingency plan, though.
Right? He went, "Here you go, here's Eze." Right? If Havertz had been fit and Havertz hadn't have got injured, we wouldn't have signed Eze. Let's get it real. Let's get it right. You know, we can bend it as much as you like. If Havertz was fully fit, Eze would not be at the football club. Eze's a problem for this manager because he don't know what to do with him. Can't play him on the left. He ain't gonna play him instead of Odegaard. He causes a headache. Any player that causes this manager a headache, he puts to one side. He benches. Nwaneri calls him a problem, puts him on the bench, freezes him out. Eze now causing him a problem, puts him on a bench, freezes him out. This is what happens. Skelly now causing him a problem. Played well last season at left back. Now Nkepe's come back. Calafiori's come back. Both Nkepe and Calafiori's injured. Skelly's become a problem. What's he do? He'd rather play Timber left back out of position than play Skelly. But hang on a minute. Skelly was the next Ashley Cole last season. You can't trust him to play left back this season. You'd rather play Timber out of position. I mean, you know, this is what people don't understand. This is what this manager does. This is how it works at Arsenal. And if you don't fit the criteria, you haven't got a future. Simple as that.
Fair enough.
It's brutal.
I totally agree. I think the thing about the way football is that the problem we have with we've seen it in football before, and it's harsh. You know, sometimes you'll get a player and you have an idea and say, right, I think he can give me this and that. And then when you see him and you look at the chemistry amongst the players, you look at the way you want to play, and that player just can't do it. We've seen it before. Robbie Keane went from Spurs to Liverpool. By January, he was back at. Just
can't do it. Just can't do it.
Sometimes it just don't work out. I mean, I can go back 40 years. Gary Megson, that went from Sheffield Wednesday to Nottingham Forest. Brian Clough went, no, I don't think he played.
And Kenny, going back to Gorka it could be the same situation. It just might not work out.
Sometimes
it's a failed marriage. It's a failed marriage.
It's no one's fault. It's just that sometimes a manager's got to put his hands up and say, you know what, it's not working out. And now you've got a situation that, because we have to win the league. Let's not forget he's under pressure now because of the fact we haven't won anything for a long time. And you have to assume that you've got a very well-known sporting director who's getting just as much credit as him for player acquisition. So that's pressure. So in essence, he ain't got time for these guys. So he's gonna have to say, you know what, I'm sorry, mate, guys, but I just can't.
But
I'm trying. I can't.
I haven't got a problem with that, Ken. I haven't got a problem with that, Kenny. My biggest problem is, and my worry is if you've got these young talents at the football club, and you've got the likes of Gorka, who's obviously a talent at the football club, you've got to try and make it work somehow, because you can't rely on your Havertz and your Jesuses and your Odegaards and all your Martinellis and everything going forward. There has to be a time when you've got to trust these players or try and coach them into what you want them to be. That's the idea of top managers. They turn these players into what they want. Look at Mateta at Crystal Palace last season. Not so much this season, but last season. You know, he was gone and forgotten about. Glasner coached him into what he wanted. Got the best out of him. You've seen it with Pep, what he's done with Foden and people like this, and Doku now. You know, you've got to try and find a way. Otherwise, what you're going to end up doing. And sorry, Ken.
I think sometimes it's circumstantial. Like, if you play devil's advocate, you say with Mateta, Crystal Palace, they had nothing to lose. Crystal Palace weren't expected to have the season they had last season. It was bloody out of that world. So there's actually time to, build up Mateta's confidence and say, right, come on, mate, you're my number one, and I'm going to work with you. And then Man City, because Phil Foden came into a weird environment in terms of there was enough time for him at home in his development where he wasn't the main man. He could come in, come out, come out, because he wasn't a catalyst when Man City won the title in 2018, the 100-point title. And in 98, he was starting to slowly come in. So there's enough time to develop him. Whilst at Arsenal, is there time enough?
No, not this season. No.
There is time. What I'm trying to say, there is time, but because Mikel knows that we'll come after him, he's thinking, you know what? French connection.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, look, this season is not the time to take risks and take chances on.
So you're always going to go with the experienced ones that give you 6 out of 10, basically. Then.
Yeah, we've as I said, we've got to work with what we've got, but I just can't believe there's not been a way to get Nwaneri more game time. It was always going to happen that Nwaneri was going to move on. It was never. It was a pipe dream when people were saying, "Oh yeah, the manager likes him," and the manager probably does like him, very fond of him. But at the end of the day, it's very, very difficult right now for Nwaneri to break into this Arsenal team, and it's frustrating because the positions he can play in, there's not really anyone balling out, is there?
And for me, you know what it is? I think you made a great point. Yeah, as much as I hear both sides, I think Kelly did a great job of providing the other perspectives, and I actually think they're both right. But then when I look at Arteta, and I understand we need to win the league and all of that kind of stuff, football is not logical. Like, as much as you do the number crunching and everything he's done has got us to this point, sometimes illogical things happen. That's where I bring your point back in, DJB, that there's time, even if it's a super sub, because he one thing I like about, you could include Eze, but one thing I like about Nwaneri is where he lacks in terms of the coaching and all that systematic stuff. He's instinctive, and sometimes we need to go script. And he likes to. Him and Eze will try to score a banger. It's Nwaneri is probably one of the best finishers at the club. I'm sure Mikel Arteta even said that. Even said he could be a striker one day. So just in terms of having a tool in a toolbox and winning a season, that might be a tool in the box. You ain't used in a number of months, but when it could come in clutch, it could. But then the man needs game time. Like you said, it was always going to happen. Like, this was always going to be like the first 5 or so months. If we was presented with a good opportunity, you're going to go France. And the French loan looks good, man. You're playing under De Zerbi. It's a physical league. You're going to get game time. I'm not sure where they're at in the Champions League, but I'm sure they could still go through. So for me, it's better than wasted away. For me, the first, as much as I think this has been a talking point, the first one I thought, oh, you need a loan, is our under 21's got battered 7-0 against Liverpool. Now, for fitness purposes, he's obviously played. That's now where, for me, you need to go on loan. And even going to Marseille is probably to a degree on the back foot, because if they're playing on a Tuesday and a Saturday, at some point in that game, he's going to be knackered. But all of that's better than what's going on at the moment, man. It's a shame, especially because, when you lot were talking about, I asked you guys your opinions on Eze and obviously Odegaard. I thought, oh, are we making a wrong decision with Nwaneri going out?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's a Marino thing, isn't it? He's third in command, and maybe even Kai.
But then you look at Marino midfield. Sorry, Kenny, but you look in.
I'm not saying I like it, D, but this is just from what I've seen. I've seen this season. I think these are things that are running.
Can you actually tell me that Marino is the quality midfield that is going to take us to the promised land week in, week out? I mean, Marino in midfield is very hit and miss. People don't like him in midfield. He's not a midfield. For me, I don't want to see him in midfield. We can do better than Marino in midfield. He brings little bits to the midfield play, but he's not a prolific midfield player.
No, he's not. You know what it is, right? I think what Mikel's looking at is versatility. You can be a versatile player and be all average in everything you do, but that versatility, Mikel likes his versatility and
being able to play in them systems. The
thing about it is that Mikel, in terms of his man management, thinks, hang on it, I owe this guy a couple of games, because when my strikers were all unfit, he came and did a fantastic job with it. And I know that if we're on the attack and a set piece goes in, he's going to be all right. He's going to be great in the set piece. I know that if we do put a cross in, if Gyökeres ain't there, he's going to be there because his position is second to none in terms of movement, and he knows when to stay. When a cross comes in, he knows when to stay still because he doesn't have to move. It's that perfect, and he reacts at the right time. So
he understands his strength.
So in that sort of thing, that's where the seniority comes in, and I think. In the old days, not so much now because we're all about playing everyone in their position. But if you think about back in the 80s and 90s, there was a lot of players that Sir Alex relied on in the 80s who were versatile. You know, your players like O'Shea, Spark, you know, Fletcher, you know, players like that who were versatile. And in Liverpool, in the 80s, with Everton, Alan Harper. And in Liverpool, you had quite a few players who were very versatile. Steve Nicol.
Would you start him over Odegaard, Kenny?
Who's that?
Marino. Would you start him over Odegaard in the 10?
Well, if Odegaard keeps French connection in up, yes, I think he will start him over Odegaard. But it won't be Eze.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
He gets a bit out of that relationship in the middle of the park as well.
He knows that he's going to get he knows that Marino is going to follow the 10 commandments to the letter. He'll follow the 10 commandments. He won't make his own, and he won't think, you know what, I'll bypass the 8 commandments because I need to get to 10 now, which Eze would do because he's a maverick player. He'll obey the 10 commandments.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It suits him, doesn't it? It suits the way he wants to play. It suits his criteria of how he wants to play, and Marino ticks all the boxes for that. But yeah, no, it's a shame about Nwaneri. I think Nwaneri's days were numbered when we signed Madueke as well, because he went even further down the pecking order.
Yeah, because the right wing thing's
again, Madueke for me, I mean, he's got everything. Madueke, he's just
apart from the goals and assists. I like him though, man.
I like him.
He excites him. I wouldn't have bought him, but shout him out.
You know, he's got pace. He's got everything there. But it's just that final third, isn't it? It's just that decision making in the final third lets him down. But other than that, when he gets the ball, I'm sort of, he's one-on-one. He'll beat most players.
From what we've actually become as a club, like the good, bad, the ugly. I want to pick my words wisely, but Madueke is probably one of our most exciting players just to watch.
Exactly,
in the game, I'll be real.
Yeah, exactly.
To be honest. Yeah, and I do feel that about Nwaneri.
Definitely. And but this is what I'm saying. Could we have turned? Okay, could we have not bought Madueke and turned Nwaneri into that player? Do you know what I mean?
It goes back to what you're saying, Dean. That
this is what I'm trying to say. Has he really been given that opportunity? Has he really been given that opportunity? Did we need to sign Madueke? We had Nwaneri. Couldn't we have progressed Nwaneri into that player that the backup for Saka that we wanted? Do you know what I mean? But when he signed Madueke, it seemed to me he took the easy option because Nwaneri needed a bit of.
That's exactly what it was. That it was a no-brainer. England international and an orthodox inverted right winger who knows when to track back and knows when to phrase runner. It was an open goal. It was an open goal signing. Like early in this, the beginning of the season and towards the end of pre-season. I used to nickname Berta open goal Berta.
That's what I heard indirectly when you said that. Yeah,
and it's an open goal signing because it was, and plus Saka was coming back from a serious injury. So,
and also, if worse comes to worse, I can then start to play Nwaneri off the flank. And Endowment's popped up a little 15-year-old there and there.
Unfortunately, we're basically like a victim of our preferences for Ethan's position. We've labelled Ethan as Odegaard's successor. So by doing that, we deep down we may think, you know what, at the right, we don't like him playing there. We want to replace Odegaard because Odegaard's not good enough, and that's probably what the manager think. I think Ethan's best position is that position. Whether he'd be allowed to play for that at Arsenal, that's clearly not going to happen. if he goes to Marseille.
Hopefully, a year of French football helps him out in that regards, man. Because I'm fingers, toes, everything crossed. Man.
Do you think he'll come back? Do you think if he's successful, that he'll come back a different player and he'll perform he'll become an Arsenal legend, or do you think that
I don't know about the Arsenal legend thing?
No, I think he'll end up sold.
You have to dream, but we've seen with a lot of loan moves, it becomes permanent.
I think it will actually. I think Nwaneri's will be more so Saliba's than a permanent thing. But I just feel the thing is, I feel Nwaneri has to have a banging loan, like to the point where every week we're asking ourselves that question: oh, why did he go out on loan? It's so silly. I think he has to be amazing. But then I also think, because I'm more looking a couple seasons above. You've got players on big contracts, players that are, that you DJB spoke about them earlier. They might be seen as we might not be able to move these guys on when we want. Nwaneri's name might be banging. Premier League teams are saying 40, 50 million. It's all that PSR, 100% profit. Downman might be even better. It could go 50-50.
Can I just push in the queue?
I think it'll work, man.
What I mean is pushing the queue and interrupt you. We've seen with a lot of Arsenal's youngsters that when they leave Arsenal to go to another English club, it's not workable. Because the facilities at Arsenal are of such
the way we develop the talents, man. That's why I'm saying
and the way we play, they're not going to be able. They're not going to be able to thrive and survive at another Premiership club because everything's different.
Nwaneri's just got to improve off the ball and become an athlete now. That's what the game is.
Well, Reece Nelson, how many games? The only time I've seen Reece Nelson play for Brentford is in a cup.
Yeah,
I haven't seen him play in a Premiership. Yeah, and when it comes to we know what happened in Eddie when he went to Leeds. And look, and if we forget Liverpool, look what's happened to Harvey Elliott at Villa from Liverpool. He was actually playing some games in Europe in the Champions League. He scored the winner in Paris against PSG. Now he can't even get a game for Villa. It just shows you.
It's crazy. It's honestly, it's crazy.
English. I hope fair players, especially when you're struggling in the Premiership. You don't like fair players. You want work rate.
Yeah, because you're trying to fight for survival.
I think football,
job or whatever.
I think the style of football that's being played doesn't suit Flair. I had this conversation now. If you're a flared player now, if you're a naturally gifted player in the Premiership, with ability and you just like to roam around and spray the balls 30 yards, 40 yards. You couldn't be a Paul Scholes now in this day and age.
You've got to be able to run, man. And if you are going to do that,
the managers don't allow it.
If I'm honest,
the coaches don't allow it now. You gone are your days where you see your Paul Scholeses and all that. You just don't see it in this modern day football. It's very, very predictable. It's very slow. It's very lethargic. Do you know what I mean? It's
a chess match, man. It's systemic.
Yeah, it's like a game of chess, isn't it? It's like a game of chess, and it don't suit some players. Whereas Nwaneri on the continent, he might start balling out. If we can get 40, if he comes back and we can get 40 million for him, then cash in, definitely.
Hopefully, it's not the case, man. Hopefully, we're trying to talk about retaining the Premier League next year, and he's here, man. But in life, you got to hope for the best and prepare for the worst, man. Yeah,
that's it.
With that though, man, D, I know you got to go, man. Kenny, I've overstayed my welcome with you two, man. It's always a pleasure. Hopefully,
it's been brilliant.
Next time,
loved it. Always, in the chat.
Man. Where can people find you? Before I let you get out of here, man. Come on.
Yeah, I'm going live tonight at 9:45 on the Arsenal huddle.
Turn on your reminders.
Come over and join us. We have a little discussion about the fixture coming up and last night's game. And we're going to be concentrating on the Champions League because it's been magical. And guy tomorrow on my channel, me and Ken will be discussing Champions Leagues and the big game that's close to mine and Kenny's are the Arsenal Man United fixture. And going over lineups.
What time are you two on tomorrow?
What time? 5:30 tomorrow.
Hey, DJ Pete, a point of correction. There's only one game I look forward to. That's Tottenham.
Yeah, I know. You're different to me, Kenny. You're different to me. But then I was taken away from the beautiful North London when I was a baby.
Man United fans never throw bricks at me and threaten my life. It's only Spurs fans. It's personal.
But yeah, man, that's where you can find the lads. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, come and
We'll
join.
be back.
Good.
Maybe not Wednesday, but next time, because I think we're playing on Wednesday, innit?
Oh, yeah, we're playing Carrot. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not making this up. We are, innit?
Kyrat. Oh, we're playing Carrier Bag, aren't we, next week?
I've got to do some research on Thursday at 1:45 next Thursday. Basically, they put them in a monitor in me, and I've got to basically run and walk. So they're going to. It's basically for an experiment company. I'm getting paid anyway. Well, gift vouchers. I'll do it anyway. 1:45.
Oh, send us the link, Kenny. I could do maybe something like that.
Yeah. Send. I want to see that, man.
No, I don't know. You're probably seeing
Kenny.
No, when they look, it's because what's basically when you do research, you're basically testing out a product that is going to be used in about 6 months' time. So who knows? Maybe 6 months' time I might be using it. But I'll tell you about it when I next speak to you both.
Yeah, I'll see you.
We need to hear
we'll
about
be at the Man United game on Sunday. Me and Kenny Ken. We will be Arsenal Man United.
We are. I don't know if Aaron's going to wear shorts. He wears shorts and all.
Aaron will be there. Aaron's talks Arsenal will be there.
Aaron, big up Aaron, man. He wears shorts in this weather. Aaron's a legend.
He was wearing shorts. He was wearing shorts when it was freezing in North London.
Yeah, he wears shorts.
Yeah, he's on a Kieran Tierney thing, man. Bloody hell, big up Aaron, man.
Yeah.
I'll
see you on the Talk Sport as well, DG. Yes,
trying, man. China had to defend us, man. I'm so happy Gyökeres scored, man, at the right time. That's why he's my best friend.
Was it that Abby was giving you a bit of a
man, was giving me hell, man. I was getting hit with the script about Gyökeres. I was defending him as much as I could, and he just happened to score at that right particular time.
That's it. See,
he's got
always let your talking do on the pitch, man. That's all you can do.
It. And I'm still shocked, really, at the way he took that goal as well, man. Hopefully that becomes a minimum, man. But lads, I think we've got to stick with him. I think we've just got to find a way to make him score goals. All we've done in this live stream, and every time I've had you lot here, is just audit, say the good, say the bad, and then it's neither here nor there. Like the beautiful thing is, if he goes on a run, everybody loves him. We've seen this. So
yes, right. Shout that. But the thing about it is that every Arsenal fan you speak to, right, is cautiously confident. They're not boorish.
Every week we're like, but we've been here before, though.
Yeah, we know that the majority of real football fans couldn't care less whether we win the league or not. All they care about is that being proved right because they manage the football. But the social media fans, who are only about 1% of real football fans across the country and across the globe, want Arsenal to lose because they think that we've got too many effervescent, mouthy fans. We have got mouthy fans, but come on, do they really represent Arsenal? Because when I went to Chelsea, I didn't see any of these content creators at the game against Chelsea last week. You see one of them. It's only after I saw a few people that were going to do the interview for the fan cams, AFTV. But all these the ones we see on Instagram and TikTok, bloody hell, TikTok's created a lot of people. I don't see them at the matches. But they can go.
But that's why we need to win so that we can say, you know what, say what you want.
You've all got your opinions, as DG says. Good, the bad, the ugly. We've all got our opinions. Bottom line is we all want Arsenal to do well and win trophies, but you got to have a level discussion. Some you agree with, some you don't agree with.
It shouldn't be that deep, like. I just think football debate is in the shit. Pardon my French.
Look,
it is what it is.
Not all podcasts can be the same. You have to have there's room for all of us. There's room for fan podcasts. There's room for the level-headed people. There's room for
you just turn on whatever channel you want in it. If I want to watch sports,
there's room for people who have a fight. And that's the thing. And there's room for old guys like us.
There's old guys like us. But the thing is, wouldn't it be boring if you switched on every channel and every channel it was like positive, rosy?
Oh, absolutely.
All the
unless you're winning every time, it shouldn't be that.
This is perfect. I love Gyökeres. I love this one. I love that. Wouldn't it be boring?
No, you're lying to yourself.
Because
I'll make you 100% right. You know me.
Yeah.
I love an argument, but there are times when you think, you know what, just talk football.
Because there's being a realist.
The only thing that's factual about football is results and the performances. Everything else is up for debate, and even your views on your performances are up for debate. But you know what I mean.
Well, look at a different lens, man.
You just have to keep it. You just have to keep it real, because everyone was saying this time last season, and this is a fact. Liverpool trounced the Champions League. They was in exactly the same position as we were. Absolutely mullered the Champions League group stage. Everyone was talking about Liverpool doing the quad. Everyone was talking about Liverpool going on to win this, and this. And they ended up winning the Premier League. And Champions League, they got into the knockout stage and they got knocked out. So
at least they won the champ. So we need to bring
we've got to just keep it real. And let's take every game as it comes.
The good thing about it, right? The good thing about it is that for the first time in years, we actually got something to actually think. You know what?
Yeah, exactly.
Every season we thought, you know what? We actually got a chance. We're probably gonna French connection it, but we got a chance. And we think, this game's got something on it. And I think we're 3 years ago, we're at a stage where, thank God, we're at a stage where every game's got something on it. We can win something. Now, further down the line, we're now demanding results, and we've got to win. We need to win the trophy.
Yeah.
We've gone past that challenge. We're happy to challenge. Now we know.
No, there needs to be history made now, man.
I mean, the one good thing about this season, we're in it, and we've got a chance. We've actually believe we have a real chance.
It's exciting time to be an Arsenal fan, you know.
It is a great time to be,
and everything in between. Yeah,
100%. It's a great time to be an Arsenal fan.
And people wouldn't think that 9 times out of 10, man.
Just hope we beat Man United Sunday, man, because if we don't, I'm going to have the raving.
No, we're winning, man. We're winning, man. Blocker is tagging.
22nd of February is my away, Tottenham away. That's my game.
I can't, Kenny. I'd be honestly, it ruins my whole week if we lose against Man United.
United fans don't.
I mean, Man United. You know where you work. You must have a few. You must have some Man United fans where you are, mate.
Yeah. There's loads of them.
Who are doing the, how do I say it? Chaz and Dave rabbit here.
Yeah, there's loads of Man United fans.
At the
moment, I'm listening to The Great Escape every week. West Ham, they think they're going to do The Great Escape.
At least West Ham fans unearthed that gem. I think that's why a lot of reasons why Arsenal fans see Man United as our rivals, because of their fact. Normally,
their fans, man, you shut them up, man. Like,
but when I was growing up, the thing is, when I grew up, right,
Man United ruined my childhood personally.
Man United fans were always in Manchester. There wasn't many Man United fans that sent their wishes in Archway, Highgate Hill Archway, right? There were Arsenal, and there was a few Spurs fans. That's it, and there was the odd Liverpool fan. There wasn't Man United fans when I grew up, so I never felt the intensity of that rivalry. It's only when we became a very good team, we started to win titles, that I felt the rivalry a bit. But I never had that. I speak with your age, though, DG, where you in the environment you're in now.
No. United's everywhere.
I don't understand it. But I'm ignorant because I've never had that. I've always had Tottenham rivals. But if I was to show some empathy and go into your side, I'll understand. I'll understand why you guys have got a beef with Man United because I didn't know him. I didn't meet many Man United fans growing up in Islington. I didn't know them, but now there's Man United fans in Islington, Haringey, everywhere. So I don't need your lives. I never got the opportunity.
Yeah, but you just needed a TV and to be at games.
It's like when I've gone to Old Trafford, Kenny. It's like when I've gone to Manchester and Old Trafford, I've had an uncomfortable time being a football fan.
And, but I'm sorry about it. I'm not trying to put anyone down, but I didn't grow up with Man United fans in my face. You guys did, so I have to show.
What about the team, man? They did so much cheating against us, man, and they were.
But from my point of view, I'm significantly older than you. I'm just a few years younger than you, DJB. But growing up, I didn't have that. I didn't have that rivalry in Man United.
Do you know the reason why as well, though, Kenny? Because growing up, your three main teams, Arsenal was Arsenal, Man United, and Liverpool. Man City were a yo-yo team. They were Division 2, Division 1, got promoted. Mid-table, they were a nothing team, Man City, until they had all this money piled into them. Chelsea the same. Chelsea was never really a threat. They were a mid-table team, good little cup run, relegation battle. They weren't massive. Whereas Man United and Liverpool were your main fixtures all the time, week in, week out. They were your main fixtures. And I think it's just where it is now. That's, But all these clubs now that are like the City and all of that, City was never a massive club, me growing up. They weren't nothing to be afraid of. Chelsea weren't nothing, and Tottenham have always been crap. They were never nothing.
But for me,
were nothing. Our Spurs call themselves a top 6 club. I don't know.
But you know what it is with me. Where I grew up in Finchley Park and around, and if you're from the Finchley Park area, a lot of the Arsenal naughty boys, I should be saying, they're from that area. And there was always battles with West Ham and Tottenham.
Yeah, I get that. I get the local rivalries.
And if you're in Andover Estate, in Holly Park Estate, and where I spent my early years, I was born in Highbury, and I was there for 2 years, but I spent 3 years of my early years, and I in Cratch Hill, Cratch End,
that's Spurs.
That's in Islington Park, Arsenal, but there were Spurs fans there. Yeah. And when I went to primary school, and secondary school, there was a few Spurs fans there.
Yeah.
So I don't understand. I only, and because of the situation, going to North London derbies as a kid and being told about the stories, I only understand the rivalry of Tottenham. I don't understand the rivalry.
I get that, man. I mean, listen, I don't like Spurs. I don't like Spurs. Don't get me wrong. They are still a rival. It's just that Man United are one that I want to win.
But you guys, DJB, you most of all people, and obviously Stricto, you're teaching me about the rivalry. And, God bless us, our chick. I didn't like what I was hearing from you guys, where you said you hated Man United and you hate them more than Tottenham.
I hate Spurs more, but Man United is the one that gets my blood flowing.
Talking to you guys now, I understand it now. I understand why, because of the fact
and it's becoming City like that, even though they've mashed us up and whatnot.
But I understand that Man United fans have a massive diaspora in the UK, and that there was a rivalry.
FA Cup final when we beat them 3-2. Kenny was not nice. Honestly, Man United hated us, man. Hated us.
Yeah. But I understand it more now. I understand it, and through social media, I get it. I didn't understand it before.
Wait till Sunday,
the London
Kenny.
thing more than anything, because one thing that is true, Kenny, is that I do know fans from Manchester that are actually Man United fans. It's not that they don't look at Arsenal and they want to do anything to us. They're not really on us. Like the ones that live in London, they do more talking about Arsenal than Arsenal.
Yeah. No, I respect them though. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, that's the problem with me. I've still got respect for fans from all other teams, and I've still got respect for other clubs. It's not hatred, it's respect. It's just rivalry respect, if you like. As I said, I respect every football fan, because being a football fan is hard work, man. It's hard work. It puts you through every emotion.
If I'm honest.
Financially, everything.
Being a football
fan is hard work.
The two Ds. Can you imagine, right? If we got to the League Cup final, the FA Cup final, the Champions League final,
man, I'm gonna have to
in between semi-final.
I'm gonna have to take out a bank loan, mate.
We got to take out a bank loan.
I'll have to ask DG for some of his money that he gets. You know what I mean? I'll have
to ask him. It won't be enough. It won't be enough.
It won't be enough.
Some of his couple of hundred off what he gets on to Talk Sport or something. I'll have to be tapping him up, man.
This guy won't go far, man. Like, I want to be in that prospect, but financially,
I'll have to be asking old King Bucks in the chat or something like that.
His name's King, so live up to it.
Hey, think about it logically, right? You got 2 trips to Wembley. You got 2 trips to Wembley. Three trips to Wembley because the semi-finals at Wembley, and then the Champions League. You've got to make sure you've got a passport, hotel money, flight money,
Champions League,
coach money.
I knew how much it cost me in Paris, man. Without going to another one, I can't even be thinking about that. I can't. Let's just win the Carabao Cup first, Come on. Let's just win the Carabao first.
But can you imagine it? The final.
Mad though, to what Kenny said.
I can't. But I can. I want it. But But this is what I'm saying. Being a football fan's hard work.
It gives a little back, but
and the thing is,
you get something
it doesn't matter who you support.
Do it all again and again.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who you support, because when the opportunity comes, I like to go and watch my local team as well, like my non-league team. And it doesn't. They're just about as passionate for their team as what I am for Arsenal. So it doesn't matter who you support. I mean, you look at these teams that play non-league. They've got fans that go up and down the country.
Up and down the country.
Up and down the country, spending hundreds of pounds, going to watch Barnet or something like that every game.
You get like Barnet versus Grimsby or something mad. They're like,
they'll go on a Tuesday night. They'll go on a Tuesday night all the way up to Sheffield, supporting their non-league team or fans from Division 2. I mean, bless up to every single.
I big them up, man. I respect that.
This is why I want England to win the World Cup. Then we can all be united as one big fan base.
That'd have been lit.
But you know what? I like. You know what? We got a lot of privileges in the Premiership, where we basically we get good facilities.
We don't know how lucky we are.
Where we go to grounds where they're new grounds and they're all seater, whilst those guys who support low league clubs, they go to grounds where they're unsafe and the facilities are a joke.
I don't know how lucky they are. Honestly,
you probably have to get in sooner rather than later, or you're going to get shit.
If you support a Premiership,
you're standing out in the pouring of rain, gale force wind hitting you in the face, hailstones.
And 9 times out of 10, the stadiums are in the middle of nowhere.
You're standing there like 30, 40 fans, away fans around you. Do you know what I mean? And you're standing there and you've got the same passion about your football club as we have for Arsenal. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Big up to every one of them.
Big them up.
Anyway, I think
anyway, chat. Big up to chat. Thank you very much.
It's come up to 20 to 6.
Yeah, man. We've overstayed our welcome. I've had my guests here far too long, man.
DJ Kenny.
It's always amazing.
I should be on Dan's show later, but depends if
what time is that provisionally?
It's 10 o'clock, but
he invited me on, but I'll go live at 9:45. So hopefully he'll raid over to me when he's finished. Or I'll
man, tell him to do that. So people, you've got hella content. DJ B's going live, Dan's going live. Make sure you're subscribing and all those things. Follow Kenny Ken on Instagram. Lads, enjoy your evening until next week, man.
As Gary Neville says, how many Arsenal channels are there these days?
Not enough.
You always just like,